And keep your eye just below that big waterfall. That's where the big ones are hanging out. And they might even jump over while we're here.
Grade 2 students from Kelowna Christian Elementary are on a field trip at Mission Creek Regional Park, getting an up-close look at the final days of spawning kokanee salmon. A fish interpreter is showing them the main entrance to the spawning channel, and this is the best place to spot the big ones.
Okay, that was put there by the parks people and fisheries people to cause the fish to come up into the spawning channel. In the distance in the sunlight over there, you see that great big one that's come up from the lake? Huge guy. And the sunlight, there's 3 of them there actually. The importance of the waterfalls is that it gives the fish a chance to rest when they've jumped over the falls. It also creates calmer water for the eggs to be laid in so they don't get washed back down to the lake. And the third thing is the waterfalls bubble and put oxygen into the water.
Further up the channel, ideal bottom gravel conditions have been created to help the landlocked sockeye salmon lay their eggs.
The ducks can smell the eggs in the nest, so they will come along. They'll use their feet to either push the water through the gravel and bring the eggs up and then eat them, or they'll paddle with their feet and do the same thing. The parks guys will come out and they'll pull these back, so the gates will go down except for the middle one. This is the way they used to do it. They don't seem to be using it now. And then there was a point in the middle that came together where only one fish could go through at a time, and they would count them as they went through. They're floating somewhere. They go down to the...
That big one did different kind from the lake.
They go to the lake, exactly.
It's also an interactive field trip, and the students are encouraged to participate.
This is the... All right. That is what makes it orange, isn't it? It's the yolk sac. It's actually wrapped around the yolk sac. Until it's red, it's called something else. Look at the color. It's not gold, it's, everybody, silver. So that's what the fishermen will call it. This female is the same probably age as this one, but the reason I hauled her out of the river is because there was a bite mark on the tail. The tail was missing, and that whole cluster of eggs was lying next to that fish. What do you think happened? No, it wasn't another salmon. A bear. A bear took a bite. Maybe didn't like the taste because it was already dead.
Before the field trip, the kids here were learning a lot about the salmon through a story in their grade 2 class at Kelowna Christian. And it's surprising what they know about the life cycle of a salmon.
They pretty much have a little bit of their vitamins, kind of. And they have healthy stuff in the egg, and then suddenly they hatch out, and then they float on water.
They're in eggs, and then they go to Ida eggs, and then alvins, and then fries, and then a young smolt, and then they go to salmon, and then they are spawning salmon, and then they lay more eggs, and it goes over and over again.
The kids have been told about the upstream journey these tired fish take, and that there are a lot of predators out there looking for a nice fish snack.
They sometimes get bitten by bears.
Yeah, the bears eat them.
Uh-huh.
Does anybody else eat the salmon?
People.
The bears and foxes and raccoons.
And eagles, if the birds can come to swoop them up and go up.
Wolves, mountain cats.
And people?
Well, we have a story called Chucky Chum, and it takes them right through the whole cycle. He tells his story of about how he's an egg and an eyed egg elephant, so they learn all these things just from the story.
Tell me anything that makes them different. How do you tell the male from the female? Yes.
One has teeth.
Okay, which one? Which one? The male has the biggest teeth, right?
The male has a hump and the female doesn't.
Which one's bigger?
The male.
One of them has slightly a lump, and one of them has no lump. One of them also has a hook and sharp teeth, and one of them doesn't have a hook and no sharp teeth.
Which one has the hook?
It's the male. Teachers
may book the Kokanee Interpretive Program by contacting the Environmental Education Center for the Okanagan at 250-469-6140. Reporting from Mission Creek Regional Park, I'm Tim Morton for Shaw.